Good evening, everyone watching. So this is another exam season, another result season, and this time it's INI SS November 2024, and we have a topper with us as usual. This is rank 3 who's there with me right now. Abhilash Patowary from Assam. He's from Big Boy in Assam and he's done his MBBS from Guwahati Medical College, and then on now presently doing his PG from MAMC in New Delhi. And he's not even completed with his course. He's into the last part of his course, another 3 months to go. And it's in this period that he has managed to get a stalwart rank of 3, which is probably something which you understand right now with so much of competition going around, not a small thing. So kudos to you, man. Wonderful. Congrats from our side. And we'll be just taking some minutes of yours to discuss on how this has been, especially with so many people pursuing medicine and trying to take up subjects like nephrology. So I think this is going to be, I think, useful for them also. So once again, congrats and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, so Abhilash, let's start off with a very, question which most of the people would love to ask. Wanted me to ask almost everyone. Is like you are now about to face your exam. So your exam is like round the corner, correct? So when exam is around the corner, you look at a PG. Most often he is held up with the exam. His thoughts are completely with the exam. He is more or less afraid of whether he will pass or fail, etc. So you are also in that final year now. So in the middle of that, when you are having so much of stress with the exam, did you make a very realistic effort towards INISS, or it just happened so, or how did it actually evolve?
Sir, I'd like to say that I had not specially prepared for this exam throughout the course of my entire journey till now. I'm about to complete 3 years. I have always been more fond of and very inclined towards the subject of medicine and always fascinated by the art of medicine. So it has always been the patient in the ward, come back and read about him or her, and then go back to the patient. In the process of that itself, towards the end of my third year, I had to narrow it down to a few subjects. I was always, towards like what could be something that was close to medicine, and this was something that was very, very close to medicine. And then INISS happened. I was not even sure whether I would be eligible for this exam or not. But when I came to know that, yes, we will be eligible. So it was per se for the exam, if I would say focus preparation, it would be just about a month of that, I would say. And then maybe I was lucky enough, or I don't know. But
so I'm actually very happy. So because you are going with the tried and tested method, because I think only very few students are fortunate these days to study in big colleges like MAMC where we can use this method. This is the same method that I have also adopted, where you see the patient, go back and read. But hardly we have 5% of students in the country doing this. Majority of the time we study in places where there are no enough cases, so we don't have that option. So we read and read and read and accumulate knowledge and then try and adopt it and try and adapt that to the patient, or maybe then try and adapt that towards the exam, which many times is a futile exercise. So now let me just ask you this question. So you said like you are fully into medicine, doing medicine. So at what point do you realize that nephrology is the way to go forward? Although nephrology, as you said, is not fully medicine. When you start doing nephrology, you understand that dialysis, transplant are all very different. But still, I'm asking you, when did you realize that, okay, this is my career forward? Or what made you think that way?
Sir, just like that, again, it were a few of the patients. It were a few of my patients. So it was this one patient who came to us referred as GBS, who turned out to be hypokalemic paralysis, who worked up and then turned out to be Sjogren's syndrome. Then there was this patient who was labeled as tuberculosis, not improving on ATT, worked up and then presented to us with rapidly progressive renal failure, turned out to become vasculitis with a creat of 8, who now walks into my OPD with a creat of 0.8. So I'd rather say that if I have always been fascinated by electrolytes, how a single potassium value can lead us to a diagnosis of Sjogren's syndrome, and how immunosuppressing somebody at the right time can brings about so much of salvageability. And we have to always be in our toes when it comes to nephrology. So it was a balance of both medicine thinking, and of course we have to always be upfront and running around and taking decisions, and that is something that has always attracted me. And then that's what it is.
Great. So I think you share a lot of common thoughts of mine. So I'm also a person who thinks very similarly that nephrology is all about aggression, and aggression is something which, if it comes to you very naturally, then you can actually pursue it as a career. Second, of course, the very same cases that we've been talking about, I think the same cases I discussed knowingly or unknowingly, we also come across same cases. I think it's there in every part of the country. It's just that it gets missed. So the opening statement on vasculitis itself is vasculitis is a huge mimicker. So you can miss vasculitis anytime. And potassium, as you have said very rightly, is like, yeah, it just throws up so many windows. The moment potassium is deranged, 10,000 possibilities come to mind. So that's just wonderful. Now, when you think of nephrology as a career, then there are two, three things which generally people talk negative about nephrology. One is, of course, the fact that it's very, very hectic. It's almost impossible to have something called work-life balance. The term we use very commonly these days with nephrology. It's almost impossible. Second thing is the fact that nephrology makes you like many a times you are not able to offer something positive towards the patient unless and until there is a transplant or glomerular disease. So it's like a specialty where we see a lot of people dying per day. So that is also another thing which is considered to be a kind of a negative. And then now, of course, the subject is changing itself. Its colors from being a non-interventional specialty 10, 15 years ago to almost like a kind of an interventional specialty. So as you head towards this new subject, what are your thoughts on these things?
Sir, as far as the fact about work-life balance and all is concerned, I am and have been considered a workaholic at all times. I
Okay.
am often mocked at times for even taking rounds till this date when I have just not even 1 month left for the exam. Even today, I went for rounds. So,
Okay.
so I think because without the patients, it's like a free time where I can just discuss and then come back and again. So work. I don't think that should be a problem for me. Work-life balance. I think I'll be able to balance it. Hopefully. And salvageability wise, sir, of course, as you said, glomerular and all at the right time, if you intervene, then the salvageability is there. Even for people with CKD on and all, what I have realized, I'm not sure what's coming for me in the coming years, but over the course of first year, second year, third year, the way I see a CKD, way I see mineral bone disease in CKD, that itself has evolved, and I think I have been able to treat patients little better as I have progressed, and I think I'll be able to do that if I like go ahead in
Exactly.
my.
That is the understanding that evolves with time. That means when you see from outside, every CKD looks the same. But as you enter into nephrology and as you understand and learn nephrology more, you understand every CKD is a different CKD. And the needs, demands, the requirements of each of those CKDs are very different. Although we say the CKD has hemoglobin 9, the other CKD has hemoglobin 9, the cost for this 9 may be very different. The way you tackle this 9 may be very different. So that is a perfect understanding. So I think you are, although not completed your PG, your understanding about why to pursue nephrology, how to pursue nephrology, and what to actually do with the subject is, I think, spot on. I'm really happy, and I think I feel your mentors, your teachers at MAMC would be really good because otherwise, with just 2.5 years into the course, to have so much clarity on why you want to pursue a subject, etc., is very rare, very uncommon to see. So just tell me from like how has the college contributed towards this kind of an understanding, or your seniors or your APs, whoever.
Yes, sir. MAMC offers a wide range of patients, a wide range. In fact, in our unit, every day we have like 100, admissions.
Yeah,
So that way, that offers a big palette of lot of patients. One,
yeah,
and then as they say, the more you seek, the more you learn.
yeah,
So it offers all kinds of investigations. Like I'm very upfront with biopsies.
yeah.
Again, I'm often scolded at times
Mm.
for being too aggressive at times. So it gives you a good free hand, and then you can read about them, and then the APs and
Yeah,
all, they are quite supportive, and then like they allow us to take decisions, and then go ahead. Everything, sir, all the autoimmune workup, and
yeah,
we are associated with the GB Pant Hospital, so which has got a very good autoimmunity lab. So
yeah,
all the autoimmune profile and all the kidney biopsies, we coordinate with the radiology department, and then we go ahead and then we do as much. Dialysis is also done, but per se we do not have much of a dialysis exposure as such. Like we are not posted there actually, but
okay.
then so it's there a little bit. So that way, and my seniors, of course, I'm always indebted to them, and my professors at MAMC, at GMC, whatever. I would rather say this 10 years has been a great journey. Like everything has helped me at some point or the other.
Mm, yeah.
My batchmates,
This is the best place to be at the end of 10 years. At the end of 10 years, you are in a space wherein you are able to join as a postgraduate super specialty resident in the Central Institute is a real testimony to your hard work because you started off from Assam 10 years ago. And after that, when you are right in the forefront within 10 years, this is what everybody aspires to. And I think I'm really happy for that. See, just take me through your preparation. You told that you've been actually reading through whatever you're seeing, but generally, what has been your preparation like during these 3 years? First year might have been very hectic, but like afterwards, what have you actually read and what have you actually kind of, did you have a plan or you were just reading randomly?
Sir, first year I could not read anything, to be
Yeah,
very honest. We could not
yeah,
come to our hostel also in first year. Just once a week or something we used to come. So second year onwards, I started preparing a little bit. Preparing in the sense that, sir, I again, as I said, I used to look at the patients, and I started with electrolytes again,
yeah.
and I have always been fascinated by electrolytes. I think I have seen your module at least 8 times, the potassium module.
But,
Every time I come back to the patient and then read and come back, and everything it comes, something new comes up. So, sir, I used Marrow,
yeah,
and then at times when I used to have doubts, I used to go back to the textbook to Harrison
yeah.
and then apply. And so we used to have our own discussions, like the journal clubs and reviews and all. So some good discussions with our seniors, with our
Good.
juniors. So
Yeah.
that has been the way, not a very conventional way of studying, I would say, but
I
yeah,
think that's exactly the message that I want to give everyone who's preparing for the exam also. That means exam has gone from the era of people sitting and preparing for years together. That's now out of the way because we're having a lot more seats. It's the freshers who actually get all the ranks. And basically, rank is a byproduct of your preparation. It's not a byproduct of your, what do you say, entrance preparation. It's a byproduct of your ward work and byproduct of your general preparation, which means if you go to the wards properly, read what you're actually seeing and see the videos of whatever cases you're seeing, automatically you will get a rank without having to actually prepare for. That is the whole difference, because when in 10 years ago you see there were only one or two seats here and there, so after MD you have to take a drop or 2 years drop and sit and read the textbook. There is no other option. Now you don't have to actually do that. It is absolutely not required. What he is doing is the perfect method. I think that will take you to the best center possible. So I'm really happy that you're putting across such a message rather than we talk about having to spend too much of time with the video, too much of time with the book. I think it's much better off if we work and then we read whatever is corresponding. So have you ever read any nephrology textbooks per se, Tihali, or any kind of textbooks have you read?
So not during the second year at all, but during the third year, towards the end of my third year, I had an inclination towards nephrology.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so if I had to manage something or the other, then I used to read Fihali,
Mhm.
some guideline or something, KDIGO guideline or something.
Okay.
For the exam per se, just before the exam, I went through the videos, one completely at 2x speed. I
Good.
went through them twice. One.
Yeah,
Secondly, the Fihali tables, I did go through the Fihali tables
yeah.
just before
Good.
the exam. But most of that is already covered. So like
How much?
the
That's what
glomerular
was.
disease part,
Yeah, yeah. So I myself, I
and
don't
the
know.
KDIGO guideline.
Yeah. I think I myself have said this so many number
Yes,
of
sir.
times. Like I have read Fihali more than maybe even Fihali has read Fihali. So I would have read more number of times than him because keeping on reading, 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 and it just keeps changing, changing, changing. Now my point is like, how was the exam in general? What do you make of the theory paper of INI? Like, what is the level of difficulty? And what is your advice to people who are actually going to give it next? Do they need a focused preparation, or just like during your PG, if you study, I think that's more than enough? What is the level of difficulty of the paper?
Yes, sir, sir. If I may, I would just like to say one thing. I just forgot to say something prior to this. Like one thing I would always say that tests, the importance of tests. I used to give a lot of tests. That is something I'd forgotten to say. I have done the Marrow Q Bank. I have done the
Yeah.
whole Q Bank of
Oh,
Nephro, and whatever test used to come up of whatever subject, whether it be cardio, gastro, I have given all possible tests. So
yeah.
that was something I just used to keep a check,
Yes.
like I learned something new or something like that. Even in the
Yeah.
emergency, if I was free, I used to give a test or something. That is
Great.
something, maybe it has helped me, I don't know. But
Yeah.
every test I had given, and then I had given one test just right before the exam. So
Mm,
that in that test I got a rank one, which
mm.
so that boosted my confidence a lot. So
Yeah. Correct.
it's okay, whatever. And sir, for your question, as far as the exam was concerned, the exam this time I felt was tough. Was a little on the tougher side. I felt
Okay.
tougher side on the sense, in the sense that it took me a lot of time to tackle all the questions. Not like a usual mock test. Every option I had to analyze because they were giving a lot of information in every possible option, percentages and all. Uh, so ultimately, it's always a game of ruling out
Yeah. Exactly.
on the basis of whatever information you have learned, and then
Yeah.
come to the answer.
Yeah.
So exam was basically, I feel it was 40-40, but since nephrology is so close to medicine, so it became like 50-30, I feel.
50. Right.
50-30. So that is that. And
What was
medicine
your
question.
feeling after giving the exam? What was your feeling after giving the exam? Are you like happy after giving the paper? You felt like you could have
No,
done better.
I wasn't sure. So I just, everybody was asking me. I just said the exam was very tough. I felt that the exam was very tough.
Yeah.
And after that, sir, and another thing, I don't know whether it was lucky. It was like a Slumdog Millionaire for me, the exam, in the sense that a lot of questions were from things that I had heard in conferences, in
Yeah.
quizzes. I have been an avid quizzer, every possible quiz I go to. So and some journal clubs. There was this one journal club on IgA nephropathy, I believe, 2 weeks back, where he
Yeah.
was discussing on budesonide, targeted release formulation
Okay.
budesonide. So first reason I was just going through the new drugs, and then there was this drug called iptacopan. So there
Yeah.
was a question on iptacopan also. I would have never known that. So I was like, I read about this like a few days back, and because there was, you just have to choose the drug. So I was really fascinated. Like, iptacopan was, even there was a question on, like, you always thinking you went to the nephro ward and then you saw that there was a patient with rickets, and then you
Yeah.
came back and saw whether it was the endocrinology department. So
Correct.
there was a question like that on RTA type 2. So
Okay.
that's what I think, like for me. I
Yeah.
don't know. matlab.
Awesome. That's great. And what about your interview? How was the interview?
So the interview was fine. I think they asked me about the thesis and all. Other
Yeah.
than that, they asked me about distal RTA, electrolytes, because I told them I liked electrolytes. So they
Yeah.
asked me about distal RTA, about
Yeah.
Sjogren's, about glomerular, how to replace potassium and all.
Okay.
And then that was, I believe they were testing the medicine knowledge of
Yeah.
like what is the potassium deficit and all that. And then they asked me about SGLT2 inhibitor side effects, and they asked me about anti-proteinurics. And
Okay.
then again, as I said, one day before we had a journal on atrasentan.
Oh.
So anti-proteinurics. So they were quite happy when I said sparsentan, atrasentan. So I believe I ticked three right
Uh,
well somehow. I don't know.
the knowledge of people hearing these are endothelial antagonists, which are now showing a lot of promise with respect to proteinuria and diabetic nephropathy. So we have in our videos, gave updates, we have mentioned that sparsentan and atrasentan are now like upcoming drugs. Like Findranon was like few years ago. Now Findranon has become very
Yeah.
popular, and after that, it's now the era of the endothelial antagonists. So anyway, that's awesome. I think so, like, you are right in the midst. I mean, you are very much with nephrology. I think, and you are, I think, the best person probably to get in, because you are like so much in love with the subject. When we do our MBBS, like, definitely we will not be having a like towards many of the subjects. We'll be liking only few subjects. When we do MD also, we're not like all the subjects uniformly. That's the greatest fun of doing DM. DM is all about doing that one subject which you have chosen for yourself. And I think everyone who has done DM from a good center would cherish those memories of doing a DM, because it's that one subject where everything about the subject you like. So for me also, nephrology also, I think there is one part of nephrology I'm not quite happy with, that is peritoneal dialysis, which I'm not basically personally a big fan of. But apart from that, everything else I love about nephrology. Peritoneal dialysis is probably the only thing that I don't like too much in nephrology. Apart from that, everything I'm a big fan. So as you enter into the subject, more than nephrology per se, many of the people watching would want me to ask this. Like, did you have any specific plan per se during your PG, like that you had to complete this many videos in this much time, this many test series in this much time, or it just happened organically? Or did you make a plan for every month and proceed?
Uh, no, sir. Second year, as I said, only with patients. With patients, because there's such a variety of patients. So like it,
You don't have
most of the
to.
things will get covered only. But
Yeah,
yes, in
correct.
third year when I came, then I did do some amount of patient, like subject specific revision, but not
Correct.
very stringent goals. Like in 1 month I'll do something like that. But and tests, as I said, test I used to give from second year only. I mean,
Very good.
like if I got bored, because during a test you cannot get bored. You have to give the
You cannot
test. You
do.
can't do anything else. So
But
that way you can.
many people
So
don't do this because they fear something called lack of performance. No, so you once you don't perform, then your confidence go down. It does go down. So that's probably something that's picking them back a bit, I guess.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, and prior to the exam, yes, just like 3 months or so, I used to watch a lot of interviews. I think I watched all possible interviews.
Okay.
I'm glad I'm giving one now. But and then I used to find out what they are saying, like what are the topics. It's a very compartmentalized subject. If you see nephrology, it's kind of doable. There are a lot of things, but then if we just compartmentalize the subject, and then what I did, I used to, like, even you have in one of your videos told in one of the discussions, like glomerulus has this many questions, electrolyte is this many questions, one of the discussions. So I compartmentalized it, and then I proceeded. Basically, glomerulus will have the majority of the chunk of
Yeah.
questions, followed by electrolytes and metabolism, and endocrine hypertension,
Yeah.
and AKI, CKD, and
Okay.
dialysis and transplant. They don't ask very difficult questions. The
Correct.
basic
They're not
drugs,
very.
a bit of rejection at times they can ask. So that is how I compartmentalized it, and then I basically went through the videos on at 2x speed once. And previous year's topics, like 2 to 3 days before the exam, previous year topics I had taken out, 2 years, the topics, not the questions. And those topics, I just went through the videos again because I did not have time to make much notes. Basically, so that's it.
That's awesome. Yeah. So like there are so many students from Assam. I mean, there are many of them, and Assam is one state where for NEET PG Marrow has tremendous following. So a lot of students are there from Assam, and many of them are aspiring to take up medicine. I think Assam is a state where large majority of students aspire to take up medicine, and there are students from different parts of Assam. So as somebody who started off from there and now about to get into a central institute for your DM, you just give some pieces of wisdom for those children. I think that'll be of great value.
Sir, wisdom, I would rather say that, first of all, I have been very grateful to my UG college as well. Guwahati Medical College itself has
Yeah.
got a very good has got very good teachers, and then I'm really grateful for the clinical experience. Like, we had great ward postings and everything. We have great people there, and then I'm really grateful. And then, as I said, that nothing is impossible, I believe. The cliched sentence, but I would rather like to say that more than I would feel in my case, rather than, as they say, like, it's not more about the intelligence or the strongest of the species, but the one that is most adaptive to change. I would rather say adaptability is something that is very important. At a point where I did not even know I would be allowed to appear for the exam, I had to adapt very quickly that in 1 month I have to do whatever resource I have to do it.
Correct.
So then I feel, because I cannot change the direction of the wind, so I have to change the direction of the sails so that I can just cross the sea or something. So adaptability, I feel, is a virtue that is, like, not very stressed upon. I feel adaptability should be something that's really important.
You are very adaptable. That's the reason why you like chose to leave the comfort zone of, you could have done your PG in Guwahati Medical College itself, no? So then you chose to leave the comfort zone and come all the way from Guwahati to Delhi. So that itself is a very challenging thing. It's not a very easy task. So how was it like getting acclimatized to the new place? Did you find it difficult, or what made you think that no, I have to go here, I have to go to Delhi? What is your rank also for NEET PG?
Sir, my rank was 27.
27.
27, sir. At that time, it was a dream come true, of course, to get
Yeah,
into MAMC. Sir, as I said, we always strive for excellence. So that is what I
exactly.
tried. It was okay if I would have got GMC medicine also. I had to do medicine, but that I had to do anyhow. So then when I got into MAMC, then after that, sir, it was really difficult the first few months. But I knew that it would be difficult. But the only calling that was there was medicine, because I had to do medicine, so I had to go through it. And I was very, very lucky to have very good seniors,
Yeah,
and thankfully very good batchmates, without
yeah,
whom it would not have been possible. I would also like to thank, if I may, my, first of all, my parents,
yeah.
one. Then my girlfriend Supriya, she's currently doing obstetrics in Safdarjung. My batchmates, Rishabh, Ashish, Vipul, they've been really supportive. My juniors, especially Paras, from
Yeah.
whom I took the notes of nephrology, and I had given a lot of tests at his place. So
Oh,
I was sit, and then he, all the emotional tantrums and all, they used to handle everybody.
oh,
So
very good.
whatever it is, so a very strong support system, I believe. Uh, so that's it, sir. And then once you get through the course, and then you start enjoying it. Like, by
No.
the end of first year in MAMC, we were like, we have not even opened a single page of the book. But
Yeah,
any patient who comes, we will be able to manage. Any patient who
correct.
comes.
That's exactly, that's what we want. That's what I keep on seeing in the videos also. At least I'm so happy that somebody is now telling it back to me. We should be in that position where we have not read anything, but we will have the confidence that any patient who comes to us, we will manage. And whatever we don't know when we manage, we will read. Rather than we read and go and manage, we will manage, and
Yes,
whatever we don't know, we will read. And inside that, whatever we read, whatever we think is not in sync with our management, we really do understand that that is not the way to do that. That's not what we have to read. Whatever we
mm,
read has to be exactly in sync with what we manage. So reading is a kind of counter checking on what we are doing, whether it's in the right direction, etc., rather than reading everything and going and managing. So I get really irritated when people ask me, how do you read so much? Actually, it's not like you read so much, you see so much, and then you come back and read that. So
exactly.
if
Yes.
somebody is actually saying the same thing, I'm so happy for you. So
Because
wonderful.
that day we had to replace potassium, and
Yeah,
that day I just replaced potassium. I came back, I saw your video. Next day we went for urinary potassium or whatever, Sjogren's syndrome, ANA, ROLA, whatever it is. That day,
yeah.
if you wouldn't have replaced potassium, then the patient would
So
have
he will
fainted.
die. Yeah, that's what. That day, if we don't replace
Right.
potassium, he will actually develop some arrhythmia and die. Then what's the point in talking about Sjogren's syndrome? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly. So that is like awesome, man. So it was wonderful discussing with you. I think you're right on track. I think more people should watch this interview. If more people watch this interview, they really understand like that the whole process, as you said, of learning nephrology is not really tough. If you compartmentalize properly and you understand what is more commonly being seen, then your thought process will be aligned in that direction. Rather than if you sit and read RTA, the point is you will never finish in your life reading RTA. Autosomal dominant, 5 types autosomal. This is the 10 types. Then carbonic anhydrase enzyme. This is there, that is there, and you never come to the core. Yeah, so the core is still long far away. So as such, when you see a patient with Sjogren having RTA, then reading is such a simple exercise. Correct. So I'm so happy that you have understood this at a very early stage of your career. That's just great. Means really good.
It's a pleasure, sir, talking to you. It's a dream come true because I
No,
see
I'm
my
also
colleagues that you're
happy.
actually talking to me.
I'm actually very happy talking to you because you seem to have the what do you say the right mindset. No, mindset is something that you can't buy from the market. Mindset is not something that you can create. Mindset is something that is, I think, inbuilt in you, and also, of course, out of your experiences. But with just 10 years experience in the medicine, you have got such a good mindset, and that is exactly what you need to carry forward also, because that will make you a superb doctor. Leave aside everything else, but you'll be of really use to the community. That is essentially what we are striving for.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So once again, thank you so much and a huge congrats from our entire team
Thank
and
you.
wish you the very, very best.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Thank you.
you.